Hi, it's Jane. I don't know that I've got enough stuff accomplished this week, although I feel like I have. It's just been a strange week. As I told you, we had one of the members of our church that was killed in an accident, and it's kind of sad for our church, but church is coming together and working with each other, lifting each other up in the family. So that's what is expected. If you are friends with me on my Facebook page, I have shared a link for a GoFundMe. This young lady is sole survivor. Well, not sole. The driver that caused the accident is also a survivor. But she is the only one in her family that did survive the crash. Unfortunately, she lost her baby and her husband all in one fell swoop. But one of the amazing things is, even though this is such a tragic thing, she had the comfort and that peace that supersedes all understanding from God. From the moment she woke up in the car, in consciousness, all the way through surgeries up to the hospital, life flight, whole 9 yards. So she has a very strong testimony, even in her loss and her grief. So, and she's an amazing woman, so she'll be sharing that with a lot of folks, I'm sure. As you know, I decided it is time to work on this. This is that shirt that I started, 5-6 years ago, and finished it. So now I'm working on the last part, the last sleeve for the back, and then I will be joining it together. I hope to get that sleeve done this week. So we'll see. It's coming along. It's that kind of thing. That is the only thing that I have accomplished, crochet or knit-wise. The only other thing that I've done is I did finish up these cute little dresses for, and these were dresses that originally they fit the Dollar General dolls that are, I think, $3.50. They may have gone up to $4. Because everybody seems to be raising their prices. But it's a little, 8-inch doll. But it also fits the Dollar Tree dolls. So, and these are reversible. This is one side, and this is the other. So the child has two clothes that you can put on these dolls. That is the reverse of the little fairy cats that I had made the dresses out of. This is, did a couple of butterfly prints that I had, and that's the opposite color that's on those butterfly prints. So 3 of those, and then this is the kind of pink flower and leaf, and I had used a gray polka dot for the interior for that. So I finally got those finished and snaps all put on and everything. And so there is the little doll dress on the Dollar Tree doll. Now, the newer doll does have for 2025, does have a larger head. So if you are sewing this pattern, it is an easy pattern found on Operation Christmas Child Sew and Craft. It is a Facebook group. It is in the files. But if you are using that with that larger doll, I think you would need to extend these straps just a little bit, like maybe 1/2 inch on both ends, so that it'll fit around that doll's head. I don't know for sure because I haven't gotten one of the newer dolls because I had quite a few of these like this set aside. So I was thinking maybe this week I would pick up one of the newer dolls with the larger head and go from there with that doll. Now, the only other thing is, you know, on Scraptastic, the other channel that I have, I had talked about zippers. That zippers have a right side and a wrong side, and one of the bags I put in wrong side zipper, couldn't get the zipper pull on, blah, blah, blah. So I was given a couple of hints of how to avoid that in the future. And this is for when you take zippers apart, or if you're using zipper tape, because sometimes we get confused and I wasn't paying attention. I was listening to music and singing along and sewing. Happens. So, yeah, that's something to kind of be aware of, you know, as you're going along. Some of those things that can cause some troubles. So basically, what I did is I took the one bag apart and fixed the issue. I thought, and I'm going to insert a picture of how I fixed it. And I determined I'm not resewing that again. I'm not taking it apart again. I'm not turning it around. So it's going into the trash. Jerry had said, well, maybe you could give me the bag and I could use it for something, or, you know, blah, 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 whatever. She was hoping it was maybe giraffe fabric. When I explained to her that it's the skull and roses, she was like, oh, no, never mind. She doesn't like that kind of thing. So I'm going to put a picture here. Of what it looked like. See? I make mistakes left and right. So I finally just chucked it. You know, took off the D-rings and so I could save them for another project. But this is the original way the bag is supposed to look. It's supposed to be completed, where you have a zipper that is open and free, zipper tab. Then when you zip it open, you have one side that has some credit card pockets, slot to put your money in, and then the other side just has two slip pockets on it. But both sides have zippers on the front that you could put items in, cell phone, keys, that kind of thing. This was a new pattern to me. I don't know that I would ever do it again. It's pretty fiddly, and when you go to put in the zipper, you do need to be able to either cut the zipper ends off so that you can separate the zipper and work with it that way, or use zipper tape. And then when you are sewing, placing it on into this, you have to slip it in between the material right sides, and it is just a fiddly mess. And I don't know that I'm going to ever do this bag again. This bag measures about 10 inches across and 7 inches down. And then the bottom gusset is about 3 3/4. And I did it. I just have the one, skulls and roses. I don't know that it'll be up in the shop this afternoon. Maybe in the morning, but I'm hoping to get it up this afternoon. Just hopefully I can get some pictures. That's been the biggest deal. And this is the same thing, only it has navy blue zippers. The outer bags have the same fabric as the outer part. on both sides of those zippers. And then when you open it up, again, you still have the 2 slip pockets. And that is done in that print. And then on the opposite side, you also have the slip pocket for cash, and then a couple of credit cards that you can put in there. Credit cards, license ID, that kind of thing. And of course, you can always put it in a coin purse, slip it into the inside, but it gives you an option to carry some other things, you know, like lip gloss and a wallet or whatever you want to. It is a crossbody style. Does have a slider strap that you can extend it. As a crossbody, swivel hooks on the D-rings. You could remove it if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you know, some people might want to. But anyway, there are 2 of these, and they are exactly alike. So yeah, those all will be going up in the shop eventually. But yeah, that's kind of it for, you know, what I have been doing this week. A lot of it has been struggling a little bit because of the loss in my church family. And this is a young couple. And then at the same time, being really convicted to pray for this young man that caused the accident. Holy Spirit, you know, just moves in ways we don't expect. Although normally I would pray that he got what he deserved and that he would, you know, I always include that he would come to know Christ. But my focus this week has been a lot on praying for him, just his soul. And I think many times the Holy Spirit moves us to take someone away from the clutches of the evil one. And I really think that is where this young man is at this point in his life. And also praying for his family, lifting them up to the Lord, asking that someone would come in and, you know, take them away from the darkness that I kind of feel, you know, led to pull them away from. So those are some things I've been doing. But anyway, I'd shared on the Facebook page about this young lady, the GoFundMe. And of course, GoFundMe takes 2.9% of whatever you raise. And people have responded well. So if you had donated, I wanted to thank you for that. You can also continue to donate directly to bigwoods.org, which is the church is Big Woods Bible Church. If you are so inclined and feel moved, regardless of what amount, it will all go. The church funds will 100% go to this young lady, and you just need to put in her name, Amanda, and they will know who it's going to, or her last name, which is Geis White. And I'll put some information linked down below the video for those of you who would like to contribute if you can at any time. So she has a long haul. She a compound fracture, upper arm, has a plate in. She had femur compound fracture that she has a rod that has been put in, you know, plus some contusions and things from the car accident itself. But thankfully, she does not have any more internal bleeding or anything like that. So we're grateful. And yeah. All right. You ready for a little water tarnation? My nose is itching. Oh, I did want to tell you, Ronan surprised me this morning. The alarm hadn't gone off, but I'd woke up early and gone to the bathroom and then came back to bed and laid down thinking, oh, I'll get another 30 minutes sleep. Ronan jumped up in bed and proceeded to cuddle in my armpit with me. That is not Ronan. So not Ronan. So I laid there and took it as long as he was willing to lay there and let me cuddle. And then, of course, then I asked him which one of us is going to die, because he's a feral cat. But and the first thing everybody asks me is he sick? No, he's not sick. So, how old is he? I'm like, he's only about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years old. So no, he's fine. But, I'm going to take that as a good sign to be able to have him cuddle like that with me, because that was a total surprise. And that is something I have been looking forward to with him. Izzy, she cuddles every chance she gets, but Ronan, it's always on his terms. All right, what in Tarnation? Alaska Zoo's bear perform quality control for bear-resistant trash bins. Now that's smart. Sanitation officials in Anchorage, Alaska put their bear-resistant trash bins to the test with the help of some product testing experts, the Alaska Zoo's bears. Anchorage Solid Waste Services brought its trash cans to the Alaska Zoo to have them thoroughly tested by the zoo's resident bears. Video from the test show bears making numerous attempts to get into the trash bins, occasionally managing to destroy them entirely. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game urges residents keep trash and other potential sources of food secured at all times to avoid human-bear conflicts that could lead to the animals actually being euthanized. And the video, I don't know, there's something about bears grunting and trying to tear a trash can open that's kind of precious. Now, we've had a helicopter accident this week involving some executive and his whole family, which is sad in itself. What was even sadder was to find out the reason the helicopter went down is because it ran out of fuel. 15 minutes into the flight. Somebody was not thinking clearly when they took the family up. That's all I'm saying. Helicopter crash in South Africa blamed on unsecured penguin. The South African Civil Aviation Authority said a low-altitude helicopter crash that didn't result in any injuries was caused by an unusual passenger, famous for its lack of flight experience, a penguin. The incident report said the pilot and 3 human passengers landed on Bird Island off the Eastern Cape on January the 19th, and a passenger described as a specialist placed a penguin from the island in a cardboard box and brought it aboard the aircraft. The pilot conducted a risk assessment of the flight. However, he omitted to include the carriage transportation of the penguin on board. The passenger riding in the front seat of the helicopter held the box containing the penguin on his lap, securing it with his hands. But he lost grip just after takeoff, and the box slid into the pilot's silic pitch control lever. The helicopter was pushed to the far right position, causing the helicopter to roll to the right and strike the ground with its rotors. The report said the helicopter, which landed on its side, sustained serious damage, but no human or penguin passengers were harmed. The lack of secure containment for the penguin created a dangerous situation. The absence of a proper secured crate meant the penguin's containment was not suitable for the flight conditions. There is no video. The only thing it does is it takes you to a link. There's a PDF that the link takes you to for you to read the report. Deer wanders into YMCA in Kentucky. Police in Kentucky responded to the local YMCA to eject an unusual trespasser, a deer. The Louisville Metro Police Department said on social media that officers responded to the Chestnut Street YMCA on report of a trespasser refusing to leave. When officers arrived on the scene, they were met with the subject literally staring at them with a deer in the headlights look. To our surprise, YMCA doesn't offer memberships to deer. Who knew? There is a video of the viewer being escorted back outdoors. Police said they've seen an increase in reports of deer wandering into urban areas, most likely due to the recent flooding. And I have another flood story later on in basically that same area. Rescuers use orange fence to corral loose goat in San Diego. San Diego Humane Society said it took a total of 12 officers to wrangle a goat found wandering loose in the city. The male Anglo-Nubian goat was reported Wednesday morning in the Valencia Park neighborhood. Officers arrived to find the animal in a large grassy field with plenty of room to flee. The rescuers called in backup, and a total of 12 officers ended up using a plastic orange fence to guide the goat into a waiting livestock trailer. The goat is being cared for by the SDHS Escondido campus until its owner can be identified. The rescue came just a few days after the San Diego Humane Society rounded up an emu running loose through Vista, a suburb of the city. The emu is also currently being cared for and kept in Escondido. Now, are you looking for a way to raise some money? Are you a resourceful kind of person? Can you come up with solutions to ideas, to things that might be problematic, not only in space, but here on Earth? Then this job might be the one for you. NASA offers $3 million in competition to recycle human poop in space. And you got to see the video. That's all I'm saying. NASA is offering $3 million to anyone who proposes technology to solve an unusual problem: recycling feces and other human waste in space. Space Agency's Lunar Recycle Challenge calls on members of the public to propose a technological means of recycling astronauts' feces, urine, and vomit on the moon and during long-haul space flights. It should be interesting. There are currently 96 bags of human waste that were left behind on the moon by astronauts from the Apollo missions. And the aim of the Lunar Recycle Challenge is to prevent adding to the stinky space stash. Why don't they just open up the bags and maybe, I don't know, gravity would have taken care of that. I'm sorry, I couldn't help that. The chosen technology will be put to use on future space missions, including hypothetical long-term outposts on the moon. NASA is committed to sustainable space exploration. As we prepare for future human space missions, there will be a need to consider how various waste streams, including solid waste, can be minimized, as well as how waste can be stored, processed, recycled in a space environment so that little or no waste will need to be returned to Earth. NASA is currently reviewing the first round of proposals to decide which ones will move to the next phase of the competition. The team who comes out on top at the end of the competition will be awarded $3 million. It may be too late, but you never know. This is the other Kentucky story. It concerns the flooding in Kentucky. Kentucky restaurant intentionally filled with clean water to keep flood at bay. This is a brilliant idea, I think. The owners of a Kentucky restaurant in the path of the Ohio River flood shared their unusual strategy for keeping the dirty water out, intentionally flooding the building with clean water. Andrew Masterson, co-owner of Captain's Quarters Riverside Grill in Prospect, posted a live video, and there's a link, and I suggest you go watch it. It's a little over 5 minutes, but it's fun too. Showing how he and his team are keeping the silty floodwater out of the building. Masterson and the restaurant's employees use sinks, faucets, and a well water pump to fill the restaurant with about 6 feet of clean, fresh water to keep the filthy flood at bay. We disconnected kitchen equipment and electrical panels beforehand. Masterson said if the strategy continues to be successful, it could save the restaurant from expensive and time-consuming cleanup. He said he remains concerned that the floodwaters could enter the restaurant through windows, doors, and ductwork if the water levels outside reach higher than 6 feet. It's a fascinating video to see. Hang on a second. A little bit of coughing fit. Weirdest finds inside unclaimed luggage include Goonies script, Glass Eye. Unclaimed baggage revealed its annual found report, detailing the most unique and expensive items found inside lost luggage that went unclaimed. The retailer, which takes possession of unclaimed bags after 90 days search for owners and redistributes the items for sale, charity, or recycling, said some of the most bizarre items handlers have come across in this year include freeze-dried chicken foot, a script from the 1985 film The Goonies. Other unusual items also toilet seat, glass eye, uncut sheet of $2 bills. That one floors me. I want to know, are they counterfeit? An ice space chia pet. Not ice space. Ice spice. Chia pet, a replica suit of medieval armor. 1944 letter signed by Eleanor Roosevelt. Jar of whiskey containing a preserved rattlesnake. A cuckoo clock. Silicone pregnancy belly. Okay. A cherry-shaped toilet brush, an antique magician's top hat, and an antique mustache curler. Some of the most expensive finds have included $39,000 diamond ring, $20,000 Rolex watch, $5,000 pair of Levi's jeans, and a $9,100 Louis Vuitton handbag. And there's no link, unfortunately. Our last story also has no link, but it's lost and found items from Uber's. Uber released its annual Lost and Found Index, an accounting of items left behind in rideshare cars, including a mannequin head with human hair, a live turtle, and a 5-gallon bucket of beans. They released this report Tuesday. They also revealed the most commonly left behind items were phones, keys, wallets, with New York City being named the most forgetful city. Some of the most unique items cited by Uber included the mannequin head with a human hair, a chainsaw, a Ghostbusters ghost trap, fresh breast milk, a live pet turtle, a urinal, a set of Shrek ears, 15 hookahs, a bouquet of 100 red roses, Ozempic, 10 live lobsters, a Viking drinking horn, and a taxidermied rabbit, and a passenger's divorce papers. Food-related items on the index included that 5-gallon bucket of beans, 175 hamburger sliders, 108 eggs, 24 cans of corn, and a bucket of feta cheese. From wayward mannequin heads to live lobsters, Uber riders have left behind some truly unforgettable items this year, said Camille Irving, Vice President of Operations of Uber. Whether essential or totally unusual, we understand how important it is to be reunited with your lost belongings. The Uber Lost and Found Index celebrates the most unique and commonly forgotten items, while reminding riders that getting support to retrieve their prized possessions is simple through the Uber app, Irving said. That is it for What in Tarnation. Sometimes you just wonder, you know? I have a cat over here on this arm that's just being a little bit of a stinker. It's okay. All right. Now we're ready for our devotional, and this devotional comes from With God, I Always Have Hope. Pick this up at Ollie's. So, let's get into it. The God who hears. Let your ear now be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer of your servant, which I am praying before you now, day and night, on the behalf of the sons of Israel. Nehemiah 1:6. When you cry out to God in times of distress, do you feel like He is listening or moving in response to your prayers? Nehemiah cried out for God to hear him while he and his entire nation were in exile. Israel had been exiled for years, with only a small remnant still living in Jerusalem. Nehemiah opens his book by recounting the time when men returned to report on the state of a ransacked Jerusalem. He was so heartbroken to hear how the city had fallen into ruin that he fasted and wept for days. After beseeching God to restore what had been lost, Nehemiah got up and went to work as the king's cupbearer. God was already moving. The king saw that Nehemiah was distressed and granted him permission to travel back to Jerusalem and begin reconstructing the city. This is nothing short of miraculous and could have only happened through God responding to his child's prayer. Rest in the hope that God always hears. Sometimes He will answer no or ask you to wait. Other times He moves very quickly. But however He works, His heart is always for you. Reflect. How has God shown me that He hears me when I pray? Pray. Father God, I know that your timing and plans may look different from what I want, but I also know that when I come to you in prayer, you hear me. You always answer my prayers, and I can rest in the hope that you will move on my behalf. Declare, God hears my prayers. Act. Write down an issue that has been burdening you and put it in a visible place. Whenever you see it, bring it to God in faith that He hears you. Not only that, but from time to time, look back. See where He has answered your prayers. I would also suggest to those of you who do follow in this faith or any other faith that when you pray out to God, that perhaps you should consider keeping a prayer journal, writing your prayers out to the Lord, writing those burdens out, and then when He answers them, you can add that to that prayer journal, that He answered that prayer. He answered it on this day or this month or this year or whatever. It's a great way for you to see how God works in your life, and I would hope that you would consider doing that. All right, that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a great week and do something kind today. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.